finals. And so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. You know, I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. And so all I'll say is just, you know, it's obviously been a tough week.
Everyone assumed she would simply accept it, smile for the cameras, and bide her time. They assumed Caitlin Clark would be grateful just to be in the building, content to learn from the legends while seated at the end of the bench. However, it appears that the WNBA overreached its biggest star. And now the consequences are rolling in like a tidal wave. Reports are circulating that the Golden Girl of women's basketball has officially drawn a line in the sand, allegedly telling insiders she is done with Team USA. And the wildest part, it wasn't simply the players pushing her out. It appears that the commissioner herself, Cathy Engelbert, might have unintentionally validated the toxic environment that led to this shocking decision. The narrative has flipped from waiting her turn to walking away. And if the rumors are true, the league is about to lose its most prized asset on the international stage. It began with what many consider to be the greatest roster error in sports history, a choice that influenced everything that came after. When the Team USA lineup was announced for Paris, the one name generating all the talk, the name that was selling out arenas and pushing TV ratings over the ceiling, was nowhere to be found. The selection committee hid behind the excuse of experience, claiming Clark hadn't paid her dues yet, and that the squad required veteran chemistry to secure the gold. But let's be serious, nobody bought that for a second. It was intimate. While the world was tuned in to watch her logo threes and showy assists, the powers that be opted to sit her for the entire summer before she even walked on the court. The rookie received a clear and loud message. You might be famous, you might be rich, but you aren't one of us yet. But that insult was just the tip of the iceberg. If dropping her from the roster was a sign of indifference, what transpired within the league once the game began was an outright assault. It was open season on Clark as soon as the season began. We witnessed blindside hip checks, including the notorious one with Chanity Carter that knocked Clark to the ground before the ball was even in play. We witnessed continual physical targeting, face guarding, and hard shvees that went much beyond typical basketball competition. However, the players weren't the only ones doing it. It was the overwhelming quiet from above. It was as though the league management was indifferent to its rookie wonder being humiliated on national television. They refused to suspend players immediately. They delayed to upgrade fouls to flagrants until the public uproar grew too loud to ignore and they allowed the narrative spiral out of hand. This lack of protection culminated in a moment that changed everything. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert intervened and put petrol on the fire just as things appeared to be calming down. In a recent appearance on CNBC that can only be described as a PR nightmare, she tried to downplay the toxicity directed at Clark by comparing it to the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird rivalry of the 80s. She sat there beaming and spoke about marketing valuation and how great this rivalry was for the business of the league. She utterly neglected to condemn the very genuine dark clouds of bigotry and vitriol that had been hanging over the fan base and the athletes. It was a massive blunder. By considering the hate and the physical targeting as just another economic indicator to be capitalized on, she essentially validated Clark's sentiments of isolation. It made it very evident that the league is more concerned with the drama and the money than with the players' safety and mental health. The outcry to the commissioner's comments was quick and fierce. The WNBA Players Association, which typically supports the league's expansion, was forced to release a statement distancing itself from Englebert's viewpoint. Players like Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier had to come up and say what the commissioner wouldn't, that there is no place for hate in the sport. But for Clark, the damage was likely already done. Imagine being the employee that brings in record profits, charter flights for everyone, and huge TV deals, only to have your manager appear on national television and claim that the individuals who are criticizing you are just beneficial to the company. That is the kind of betrayal that makes a person reassess their loyalty. And that is exactly where the quit rumors are emanating from. The elephant in the room must be addressed before discussing this circumstance. The deep-seated anger from the old guard. The same legends and friends who have played together for more than 10 years have ruled Team USA for many years, making it a closed club. Rumors have been flowing for months that certain older players made it clear they didn't want the Caitlin circus disrupting their cohesion in Paris. Basketball fit wasn't the only factor. It was about the spotlight. Diana Taurasi famously warned that truth is coming for Clark. a remark that aged poorly as Clark proceeded to break rookie records and lead the league in assists. By freezing her out of the Olympics, the veterans thought they were protecting their heritage and their locker room sanctity. Instead, they might have just destroyed the bridge to the future generation. Yes, they won the gold, but they also lost the PR battle and alienated the millions of new admirers who watched number 22. This is where the story takes a sharp, permanent shift. Insider rumors and fresh conjecture suggest that Clark isn't merely lamenting the loss of the aircraft to Paris while lounging at home. She's allegedly making efforts to preserve her own brand. According to rumors, Clark has chosen to divert her attention from the Hugh national program after being benched by the Olympic Committee, brutally attacked by her peers, and left unprotected by the commissioner. It's an extremely powerful move. She is aware that she is the source of the ratings. She is aware that she is the main driver of ticket sales and jersey sales. If Team USA doesn't want her, she doesn't need them. She's bigger than the badge right now, and she knows it. The rumor is that she has quietly signaled she has no interest in future invitationals if the existing culture remains in place. If this walkout is real, the fallout is going to be immense. We are talking about the face of the sport potentially refusing to represent the country because of league politics and a lack of support. It entirely flips the roles. The WNBA and Team USA banked on the idea that players need the system to survive, that the honor of the Olympics is the ultimate carrot to dangle. However, Clark has demonstrated that she is the system. By supposedly departing the national team setup, she deprives them of their largest marketing asset for the next 4 years running up to the Los Angeles Olympics. It's a financial disaster waiting to happen, and the commissioner is left carrying the bag. They needed her face on the billboards for LA 2028. Without her, they are trying to sell a product that the new massive audience isn't purchasing. Let's look at the numbers because they portray a brutal image for the league if Clark actually walks away. Prior to her arrival, the WNBA was having trouble making money by playing in half-empty arenas and flying commercials. Since she was drafted, attendance is up over 40% league-wide. TV ratings have increased, and the league inked an unprecedented media rights agreement worth over $2 billion. All of the veterans now enjoy better travel circumstances and higher salaries thanks to that money. The irony is stifling. She is being treated like an outsider by the league administration and the veterans. Yet they are all cashing the checks that her popularity wrote. If she chose to focus entirely on the Indiana Fever and ignore the global duties of Team USA, she is practically taking her ball and going home, leaving the national team to rely on the old guard who just do not move the needle the same manner. To comprehend why Clark would make such a dramatic choice, the particular episode involving the commissioner must be thoroughly examined. When Angel Burt was asked about the ugly side of the social media conversation, the racism, the misogyny, the threats, she switched to a corporate explanation about rivalries. She attempted to compare it to the intense NBA fights of the 1980s. But those battles, while physical, didn't involve the kind of poison we are seeing now. By failing to set a line, the commissioner made it seem like the league was complicit. It felt like she was saying, as long as people are watching, we don't care how they treat you. For a young player like Clark, who has been silent and professional through it all, that had to feel like a knife in the back. It verified every conspiracy theory that the league is using her for clout while secretly resenting her success. Not to mention the chemistry justification that prevented her from competing in the Olympics. The selection committee claimed they didn't have time to integrate her into the system. They said that her fast-paced, high-usage, deep shooting style of play wouldn't fit in with the veterans' deliberate, patient style. But anyone who saw the WNBA All-Star Game understood how ridiculous that argument was. Clark and the other WNBA players played against Team USA in the game, and they destroyed the Olympic team. Clark was dropping dimes, hitting shots, and making her teammates better instantly. It demonstrated that the chemical problem had nothing to do with basketball. It was about ego. Clark's team appeared to be the future, whereas the players from Team USA were sluggish and fragmented. The quit story changed from a rumor to a clear possibility after that game. Why would she want to participate in a system that deliberately bets against the way she plays? The Sheryl Swoopes factor is another. The WNBA legend has been one of the most vocal opponents of Clark, constantly changing the goalposts on what counts as brilliance. Swoopes has been the voice of the resentment of the older generation, from downplaying Clark's records to falsely stating she played 5 years in college. And yet, The league has continued to employ her for commentary and analysis. For Clark, witnessing the league compensate someone who deliberately works to undermine her accomplishments is simply another indication of their disregard. The workplace is poisonous. In any other position, HR would become involved if a senior consultant lied about a top performer's resume in public. It's just content in the WNBA. Her desire to break away from the inner circle of the league is probably mostly due to this ongoing erosion of her credibility. The silence from Clark's camp speaks volumes. Usually, a PR representative or agent will intervene to put an end to rumors like this spiral. They'll release a statement saying, "Caitlin is proud to represent her country and looks forward to future opportunities, but we haven't heard a peep." That silence is deafening. It implies that the discussions taking place behind closed doors are important. It implies that she is considering her options and realizing that she has complete control. The Olympics are not necessary for her to develop her brand. She is already well known throughout the world. However, she is badly needed by the Olympics to remain appealing to casual fans. Think about the physical toll this season took on her. The full court pressure, the persistent double-teaming, and the uncalled physical punches. She played the most minutes, absorbed the most hits, and still dragged her team to the playoffs. After all of that, she received a commissioner who was unable to protect her character from hatred rather than assistance from the league. It is the classic illustration of an organization failing its star talent. In the NBA, players who feel mistreated have been known to demand trades or to sit out games. In essence, Clark is making a global load management decision. She is putting her physical and mental well-being first.